Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm going to make. I'm going to show you the bowl that I just, how to make the bowl that I just showed you. So I've already mixed my resin. I've already mixed it. I really love this art resin. So I mixed equal parts in this big cup, and then I poured it into some little cups as such. And the bowl that you saw is for my laundry room. I've got a shelf in my laundry room that gets good sunlight, so I'm going to make a planter. So I'm using 3 colors for this bowl. I like the Baltic Bay. I like the Baltic Bay mica powders. This is the Abergene, I can't say that word. And then I'm also using the dark violet. I didn't have any gray, so I'm mixing the volcano ash and the black caviar. So as you can see, I've put them in some small cups to get my colors. So I've never made a purple bowl before. Got a little bit of mica powder on my mold, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. We're not going to worry about that. So now I'm just mixing up my colors. I like to let my resin set a little bit in the containers before I pour it into my mold. I feel like if it gets a little thicker before you put it in your mold, then your colors don't have it. To me, they have a tendency not to run together as much. Now, if you want your colors to run together and to meld together more, that's great. But I like to have my resin a little bit thick before I pour it in there. I don't pour it in my mold immediately after I mix everything up. So right now what I'm doing, I'm just mixing all my colors into the clear resin. I'm going to use some gemstones in this one. I'm going to try to use some gemstones that I've really never used together. I want this bowl to really shine because it's going to be sitting on a shelf near a window. And so I think the more shiny things you put in it, the better it catches the light. Plus it's going to have dirt in it. So, you know, it's not going to be translucent in any way. So this is what I like to do. Art resin is the resin I'm using, and Baltic Bay mica powders are what I'm using. I've got some silver, just some kind of silvery craft. Blow that out of there. I'm going to put my silver around the edge. Not a whole ton of them. But I'm not putting anything in the center because it's going to be a planter and you're not going to be able to see the bottom of the bowl anyway. So I have a tendency to put too much resin in my molds. Do not make that mistake. Don't make your resin bowls so thick. There's no reason. I don't know why I do that. Today I threw away 3 bowls that I made, resin bowls, because they were just too thick. They didn't cure good, and I waited too long to take them out of the mold. I've also got some little gemstones here from, I don't know what they are, but these are some purple that I'm going to put in there. My laundry room is purple and gray. I think this would be really pretty. Purple gray, I guess it's purple, more kind of purple and silver, dark grays and silvers. So there, I've got the edge. I got this mold off of Amazon. It's about 13 inches across, I think, something like that. And so I just put that around while I'm letting my resin set up a little bit. You know, I'm not in a hurry to pour that in. And so what I'm trying to do is, the look that I'm trying to go for is my solid colors that are more of a distinct pattern. I'm not necessarily going for a full marbled look like I normally do. Just something just a little bit different than I normally do. So that's why I used a lot of mica powders to really make it as opaque as I could. That looks very opaque to me. This purple, there's not a huge difference in these purples. This one's more of a violet, I would say. So what I decided to do was just do little spot pours. There's some purple. Here's some purple. What I probably should do is put a little bit of clear around first in the gems. So a little bit of clear around the edge. It's okay if the top is a little bit translucent. I want my gems to show, so I should probably put the clear there. Okay, so I got the clear. Let's go back to the opaque colors. Here's the gray. I think this silverish gray turned out really good. Okay, now I'll use the darker purple. Ooh, this is beautiful. It's very pearly. I like it a lot. I mean, you can kind of tell the look I'm trying to go for, can't you? Can't you kind of tell the pattern that I'm going for? And I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to go crazy on the amount of resin that I'm putting in this bowl. Like I said, I have a tendency just to get so carried away with my resin. We don't want that this time. We want to try to have something that's malleable. Now I'll do just a little bit of some strings, just a little bit. Maybe just a spot or two of gray in the purple. All right, so I'm going to get my heat gun, and I'm also going to put in a little bit of silicone. This is Color Pour silicone, and it really is good because it helps you get some cells going. It will help mesh it just a little bit. You can use too much of this, and then you just got this slimy mess with all kinds of holes in it. Okay, so I got my heat gun, sorry, and I've got it on low. Be real careful when you're using your heat gun. I put it up on high now. Don't want to melt your mold. If you're using plastic underneath your resin, you definitely want to be careful. Just a little bit of mixing. You don't want your lines real defined. I do have a tendency just to do too much to a piece, and then I think it gets overdone. So we're gonna let this set, and I'm not gonna do anything else to it. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna see how that's gonna look. If you see something in your project that maybe you don't like, you can always, at this point, streak and run something kind of across to get more lines in a particular color. But remember, it's probably going to move again. So, you know, in about an hour, maybe come back and check it and see if there's something different that you want to do. Because this silicone is now making, since I moved it, it's now making different cells. And you can see the cells forming as we speak. So, and I'm going to set my timer for an hour. I'm going to come and look at it, and I'm going to make sure that it's not, that the table is where, you know, where it's supposed to be. I leveled my table before I started, but I feel like sometimes, even if your mold's off just a touch, or the temperature plays a big part in that. So come back in an hour, we'll check it, and then after I check it after an hour, then I will set a timer for 3 hours. Pretty cold here in Missouri today. Remember, even your outside temperature plays a part in how your silicone, your epoxy will set up, your epoxy resin, not your silicone. All right, we'll be back. Okay, we're back for demolding. I seriously think that this has been sitting here for about 5 hours. It's still pretty sticky, but I believe that it's time. So we're going to demold it the best we can without ruining the edges, because it's a little bit sticky. So I'm just going to go around the edges and break it loose. The temperature is just so cold right now. I think that had something to do with the slow curing time. Don't really know. I might have not mixed my resin very good. Please excuse the way I'm talking. I am currently sick. I've got a cold. I don't normally talk like this. But mixing your resin is very important, and I may have sort of maybe not guessed as good, measured as good as I should have, perhaps. So again, that's pretty important that you follow the directions on your resin when you're mixing your epoxy. So I'm just going around and breaking this. I was going to put it in a bowl, to form it, but I think since it is just a little bit still tacky, I'm going to drape it over a vase. I put parchment paper over this vase, and I think that's what I'm going to do, because I don't think it'll stand very good in a bowl. But it's getting so late at night that I need to do it. So we shall see. And if you do stretch it a little bit when you pull it out, if you're not looking for perfection, sometimes that's kind of a pretty look too. I think that it really formed up very nice. I didn't use mold release because I don't have any. It's not too sticky. It's not sticking to itself, so we shall see what it looks like when it turns out tomorrow morning. I hope it sets up good. Okay, so now I'm hoping that I'm putting this out in the center of the vase, and it looks like it. I'll get this out of the way. just want to mold it around whatever your form is that you're going to put it on. You just mold it around there. I'm using this parchment paper, and make sure you use the shiny side up on the parchment paper. You mold it however you want to mold it. If it won't stay where you want it to, you can stick something underneath it. Like if you want this end to stick out a little bit, just go around and put stuff underneath it. You want to make sure you press that down flat to whatever you're putting it on, so that your bowl sits flat on. You do not want it to drape over itself. I mean, you might, that could be a good look too, but it will stick to itself. And I think I got this out of the mold at the exact right time. So if you feel like you need to put something on it to keep it flat, do it. Just do it. It'll just keep it down a little bit. So there's that one. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the small one. I'm going to demold that, and I'm going to drape it over a small bowl like this, like that. So I will show you the results tomorrow. Okay, let's demold the bowl. It is set overnight. Let's move that, put that on a vase. Oh my. Look at that. It's beautiful. It turned out really, really nice. I like it a lot. The colors are good. Cells are good. Don't drop it. Now it's still a little flimsy, so I'm just going to set it back up here on the vase for the end of the day. But oh my. Beautiful colors. Beautiful. It's going to make a great planner. So there it is. The little one. I like it too. It turned out. It's going to be a good little planner to set beside the big one. So there we go.